is the bully community obsessed with big names and famous kennels or big kennels or whatever you want to call them. Um, Top breeders, big names, famous, whatever. Does clout matter more than quality? So today, that's what we're diving straight into. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just real talk. So I see it all the time. People chasing the hype of a kennel because it's quote unquote famous. A bloodline because it's trending, or a breeder because they got a big following. But what does that actually mean for the community and for new breeders trying to get their start, for the integrity of the breed itself? So this isn't about ego or popularity. It's about how we as a community value quality, ethics, and real skills over just clout and social media numbers. And I think that we need to ask ourselves, are we idolizing names, or are we actually judging dogs and the work behind them? All right. Now, I'm not here to call out anyone out personally, because some big names have earned respect, no doubt. But we can't ignore the impact that idolizing names has on the culture. It creates pressure, it inflates prices, and sometimes it keeps talented small breeders in the shadows. So today we're keeping it honest, respectful, but real. I want this to be interactive. I'll be reading some comments, answering questions, and yes, some opinions might get heated, but that's the point. That's how the conversation the bully community needs. And yeah, let's get clear on what we mean when we say big names. And I'm talking about the kennels that everyone knows, the ones with huge followings on social media, famous bloodlines, or dogs that win shows and make headlines. So we're also talking about influencers in the bully world, people who have a massive audience and can make a line of dogs trend overnight. These are the names um, that new breeders look up to, owners obsess over, and sometimes even shape their breeding decisions around. But are they the real standard of quality, or just the loudest voice in the room? So let's talk about why they matter. So here's the thing: big names do matter. They got reputation, marketing power, and social proof. So if a dog comes from a kennel everyone respects, it automatically gains credibility. People trust it more, puppies sell faster, prices go up, and yes, big names have earned it. They've put in the years of work, they built consistent programs, and they push the breed forward. But the influence can be a double-edged sword. So when the community puts too much focus on big names, a few problems can pop up. One of those problems can be blind idolization. So this is people who buy into hype without looking at the dog itself. Reputation can overshadow actual quality. Then you have overpricing. Some puppies can sell for insane amounts just because of a famous kennel, even if the dog isn't exceptional. Then you have neglecting the smaller or the new breeders. So you have the talented breeders with amazing dogs may get ignored because they don't have clout or a flashy social media presence. And that hurts the breed in the long run. So yeah, big names have power, but we've got to ask ourselves, is that power being used to build a community or just to chase status? All right. So now that we know these big names, like who these big names are, why they matter, let's jump into the conversation. Are the big names helping the breed, or are they holding it back? So, first up, my first question: do big names really produce better dogs, or do they just have better marketing? You know, be honest. You know, does the dog speak for itself, or are we just following the hype? Let's take it back for a minute and talk about the other side of the coin. Credit where credit is due. Not all big names are a problem, and some really are moving the breed forward. So some of the big names didn't just happen overnight. They put in decades of work, breeding programs, and show experience. They build legacies, set examples that the rest of us can learn from. And that's real dedication, and it truly deserves respect. So it's easy to knock someone for clout, but behind the camera, behind the hype, there's usually years of sweat, failures, and commitment to the breed. Now, when it comes to setting standards, um, or when it comes to the set standards or setting the standard, big names also help set those standards for the breeds. If you've been in this breed for a long time, then you know what I mean. So they define what quality or what a quality bully looks like, which can help new breeders aim higher and improve the overall health and structure for the breed. So without them, some of the knowledge and the benchmarks we rely on wouldn't exist. Think about it. Like when done responsibly, influence can be a force for positive change in the bully community. So let's be real. Not every big name is chasing social media fame. So some of them are genuinely focused on producing quality dogs, educating the community, giving back. Clout is just that byproduct of their hard work, not their main goal. So yes, there are problems when the bully community obsess over names, but there's also value. There's guidance. There's mentorship coming from these breeders. So when you think about it, it's all about perspective. All right. Um, so now that we've laid that part out on both sides, the hype and the real value. Here's where I stand. Big names are both helping and hurting the community. They done incredible work. They set standards. They built legacies. But when a community puts too much focus on fame, clout, or hype, it can hold back new breeders. It can inflate prices and sometimes even harm the breed. So it's a balance. Respect the work, but don't blindly follow the name. All right. So back to that comment where he said they're not breeding to they're pretty much breeding to the breeder or the breeder's name. Think about that. So the main takeaway is don't worship a name. Judge the dog in front of you, evaluate the breeding, um, and look at the ethics and effort behind it. That's what really matters in the long run. So quality and integrity are important than popularity. And that's how we make the bully community stronger for everyone. So big names, small breeders, and new voices select. That being said, I want to hear from you all. So drop it in the comments if you think the bully game needs new voices and faces. Let's give recognition to those underrated breeders doing amazing work behind the scenes. And this, don't just keep this to yourself. Make sure you share the live stream with your kennel group, with your friends, anyone in the community. This is a conversation that we all need to have. Thank you all for joining today. I love hearing your thoughts and seeing the discussion in real time. And stay tuned for the next one. But I'm going to read some comments. I'm not going to dip out on y'all.